Hi guys, welcome to another Wayward Wednesday. Today I'm changing things up a little and I'm doing part 4 of my Goodreads prediction series. More on it right after the break. See you soon. I want to say that I envy you right now because if you're watching this when it goes live, as you watch this, I'm sitting on a dentist chair having a root canal done. Yay me! So, hope you're having a better day than me, but it is what it is. Anyway, I know that on my last Goodreads prediction episode, I said this would be my last one, but I decided to change things up. And today I'm going to do my miscellaneous one, and I will save children's book for my video that will go up on Friday. The reason I decided to do this was after a lot of thought. I decided that 1, not everyone is going to be interested in children's books, and 2, it's impossible to talk about those books without giving away the whole plot, spoiler alert, but also not to review it because I will let you know why. So if you're interested, my video this Friday is going to be solely about children's books. And if you want to check it out to have an idea what to gift the children in your life, or if you an educator, what you put in your library, I would love to see you Friday as well. Now, so today I have very few books. So another. It should be like a really short book. For me, I have 4 books. Yes, only 4 books, and they are all from different categories. These are categories that I do not read very often, but somehow these books caught my attention. I'm the poster girl, or my taste. It speaks for everyone that, like me, does not typically read those genres. But if it interests me, I'm hoping that interests a lot of people that don't usually read these books too. So I'm assuming that this will make the list. And quite honestly, they sound fantastic. And again, if you're not here, I'll make a playlist with my Goodreads selections and I'll link it here and on the description box below. And as always, all the books that I'm talking about are going to be on my Goodreads folder, Goodreads Prediction 2021 folder. You can follow me there. You can friend me there. And so before I get on the books, I'll just go on a language tangent. If you're not interested to hear my thoughts, I'll leave the timestamps below. You can go where it says book 1. Some of these categories, it really messed up my mind at first because one of them is fiction and one of them is romance. And I come from Brazil. My first language is Portuguese. And in it, for me, learning English, some of the hardest words were the ones that sound almost the same. So my brain wants to straight away translate it as this word, but the meanings are completely different. Fiction being one. I always thought that fiction was literally anything that was made up. You know, if a book has the characters in this story are not based on real life, any, similarities is in the mind's author or whatever. If there's not a disclaimer, I thought that was fiction. But apparently there's a fiction, which in Brazil would be a subgenre of fiction called literary fiction. And another name we have for it in Portuguese is drama. Because drama are all the books that are not comedy and are fiction. See how confusing there is? And another category is romance, which at first, I know it will sound ridiculous, but in the literary context, it took me so long to understand because like the word we have for romance literally spelled the same, but it's pronounced romance. Can be some romantic things, but it's literally any full-length novel. So instead of saying novel, we say romance, which is a fictionalized book that can either be drama or comedy. Tangent done. Let's get to the books, shall we? The first book I have is The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Dalila Harris. They promised this book to be Get Out meets The Stepford Wives in this electric debut about the tension that unfurls when two young black women meet against the starkly white backdrop of New York City book publishing. We have Nella. She's the only black employee at Wagner Books. So her life is not the best. It's filled with tons of isolation. She suffers microaggressions every day. She doesn't feel like she's part of the team, but she working there is a lifelong dream, so she sucks it up, albeit not happy. Then another young black woman is hired, Hazel, and Nella thinks that's the answer to all her prayers, because now she's not alone anymore. They sit in a cubicle next to each other. They start chatting. They start exchanging tips on how to treat their hair, talking about life and things like that. Okay, so Nella's in heaven, right? She's having the time of her life. She's feels she's heard for the first time ever at that company, even if it's by one person, but she doesn't feel alone anymore. Isolation is out the window. But then a series of incidents lead to Hazel being the office darling and Nella forgotten again. And things got worse when Nella starts getting threatening messages, one of them saying, "Leave Wagner now." Nella is devastated, and her world is even more shocked when, contrary to what she wants to believe, all the clues indicate that Hazel is actually the one behind those messages. Nella feels completely alone again, in over her head, without understanding the whole situation and knowing that there's a lot of things at stake here, way more than just her career. Next, I have historical fiction, and in this category, I have one book as well, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. In this book, we follow three characters along two timelines: Caroline in the present day, and then we have Nella and Eliza in the 1700s. And their lives are woven together by a secret apothecary, which is an underground network of women helping women and basically using Nella's potions to get revenge on men that have wronged them. It's basically a book about women empowering themselves and supporting each other. I have my thoughts on it. I didn't like as much as I thought I would, but I can understand why it was so great. If you're interested, I can do a review on this book because I'm like half and half, but I definitely think it will make to the list of historical fiction Goodreads nominees. Next, I have Fantasy. And in it, I have The Wonderful House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. It's a book that I swear to God, I've read a couple of months ago, and I still haven't been able to put my thoughts on paper and reveal it because it was such a visceral reaction I had to this book. The prose is simply beautiful, but we have three mysterious sisters, and they have always been peculiar. Vivi, Iris, and Gray. They are fae-like. Sometime in the past, they disappeared in Scotland on New Year's Eve, and they were gone for a whole month. And when they came back as suddenly as they disappeared. And one thing they all had now was like a hook-like scar on their throat. And as they're back to the real world, they start acting more and more strange. Their hair and eyes change, so now they have this very ethereal look. They have the blackest of eyes and the whitest of hairs. And they also have like literally no memory of what happened to them during that month. Then the book starts in the present, and Gray, who's the oldest girl, she doesn't live at home anymore. She goes missing. And at the same time that Gray goes missing, again, out of the blue, Iris, the youngest one, she starts being followed everywhere she goes. She sees this figure following her, which is a half-naked man with an ox or a bull skull. That's how I picture it, for a head. It could be a mask, it cannot. But then again, other mysterious things are happening again. Vivi doesn't live at home anymore, but she comes in and both her and Iris just set out to find Gray and figure out what's happening to her. But in order to do so, it becomes more and more apparent through the breadcrumbs that Gray has left that they will have to remember and come to terms with what happened in their past. And I would be very, very disappointed if House of Hollow is not on the fantasy Nominees list. Next, I have a romance, Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto. It is marketed as the first of a series. Okay, and this is what they told me and you. This is what they told everyone when they were trying to sell this book. A hilariously quirky novel that is equal parts murder mystery, rom-com, and a celebration of mothers and daughters, as well as a deep dive into Chinese Indonesian culture by debut author Jessie Q. Sutanto. I read that, it was like, maybe, but it's a romance. And then on Twitter, close to the release date of the book, I saw this. Okay, guys, this is the book cover. This is the picture. How adorable is that? And apparently those are Jessie's real aunts and her mom, and there's more pictures like that. She's so cute. How can you not support her? So I said, okay, I'm reading this book. And now to the synopsis, shall we? Even though I'll preface it by saying what I'm going with this is that after those two things, I felt compelled to read it, even though romance is like the genre that I actually avoid. I don't like reading anymore. I've done that, been there, doesn't appeal to me at all. But when I saw this book, it's like, wow, like it needs to be supported, right? This book follows, first and foremost, Madeline Chen, Maddie, single, never got over her ex, who might still be the love of her life. She's, doing whatever single people do these days, Tinder and the other ones. She meets this guy, like them, and they go on a date, right? The date apparently is going very well until she accidentally kills him. But wait, there's more. She doesn't know what to do, so what does Maddie do? She calls her mom, and her mom calls her aunties, and before Maddie knows, all these women are right there with her, trying to help her get rid of the body. Mm-hmm. I mean, that makes sense, right? Because if Maddie goes to jail, she'll never be able to find someone else, I'm assuming, and the family business will be ruined. Talking about the family business, like they have a wedding business, like a wedding planning business in California, and they just got the deal of their lives. This is going to catapult their business because this uber rich, like gazillionaire hires them to take care of their wedding in this island, right? And they are jumping at this. They are decided this is going to be the perfect wedding. Everybody in California is going to know their name. Everybody is going to hire them after they deliver this perfect wedding to the beautiful couple. So they're trying to hide a body. They're trying to get things ready for this wedding, right? Somehow, the body ends up in one of the cake boxes that is shipped to the island for the wedding. So they're running like headless chickens now, trying to make sure the wedding is perfect, not knowing what to do with the body, making damn sure that nobody finds it and they can get rid of the body before their reputation is ruined. And if things weren't bad, because after all, things like, have you ever seen bad things come in twos? No, they always come in threes. Remember how I said Maddie had the love of her life? An ex? Well, he's a guest at the wedding and she runs into him. And that's it. So we're going to follow Maddie as she's followed by her Madeline aunties and mom, and all of them are trying to make sure, one, that Madeline doesn't get charged with murder, two, that she gets her ex back, and three, that they deliver the wedding of the century. I mean, it sounds very fun. So that's what I had for this, guys. 4 books for 4 categories. I mean, hopefully they will make to the list. Who knows? Do you read any other genres other than a horror and thriller mystery? If you do, comment down below and let me know what books you think might make as a nominee for the Goodreads Choice Awards of 2021 in that category. Can't wait to hear from you, and I'll see you either Friday or Monday. Mwah. Be the hummingbird.